Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'm going to show you the most important tips and tricks for your OnePlus 8. By the way guys, I've already made a dedicated video for the best features where I've covered all the features offered by this phone, so definitely check out that video, link will be in the description. Now with that said, I'm going to start off with my favorite feature on this phone, that would be the navigation gestures. And to enable that, you need to go to settings, then select buttons and gestures, navigation bar, and select navigation gestures. Now once you select it, navigation bar is replaced with a bar at the bottom. Now this is how the navigation gestures work. By the way, here's a quick tutorial if you're interested. Now to go home, you can swipe from the bottom of the screen in this way and you go home. Next, if you want to open recent tabs, you can just swipe and hold from the bottom of the screen and these are your recent applications. Now if you want to go back a step, you can swipe from the right side or you can swipe from the left side to go back a step. And every time you use this gesture, you get a cool animation. And there we go. So those are the main three navigation gestures. Beside that, you can also quickly switch between applications. Now I've already opened settings. Next I'm going to open Google Play Store. Now if I want to quickly switch between the Play Store and settings, I can swipe on this bar towards the right and it switches to the previous application. I can do it again to the left side to come back to Google Play Store. I can keep doing it again and again to switch between all the applications. There we go. Finally, if you want to use Google Assistant, you need to swipe from the bottom right or bottom left corner to trigger Google Assistant. And there we go. So that's Google Assistant. Going on next, we can also trigger Google Assistant using this power button. And to enable that feature, you need to go to buttons and gestures and just enable this toggle. And then select this particular option and select Voice Assistant. Once you do that, you can press and hold the power button like half a second to trigger Google Assistant. For power options, you can press and hold it for 3 seconds and you'll get the power options. Right now there is some kind of bug with this phone, so when I press and hold it, I'm not getting the power options. So here's a preview. It's a temporary bug and it can be fixed with a future update. In the meantime, I suggest you to stick with the power menu. Next, I'm going to show you how to enable the dark mode. On previous OnePlus phones or the previous Oxygen OS, we used to have dark theme settings in display settings. But with the latest Oxygen OS, they brought all the customization settings under one tab called Customizations. From here, you can change your theme. Now select Preset Theme. We have 3 different themes. Vibrant Tints, which adds a bit of color to the same light theme. Next, we have Illuminating Light, which is the default theme from stock Android. And finally, we have the Nuanced Dark, and that's the one I'm going to select. And once you do that, this is how the phone looks. Now this is the dark mode, and interestingly, once you enable the dark mode, some of the stock applications will also change to dark mode. And it also applies to some of the Google applications, the ones that support dark mode. So it looks pretty cool, it saves a bit of battery and it also strains your eyes less at night. So definitely turn on dark mode. For now, I'm just going to disable it. Once again, go to Themes and select Light. And this is the default theme. Besides that, from the same customizations page, we can also change the wallpaper, clock style of ambient display. By the way, this is a quick preview of ambient display. If you want to change this clock style, you can do it from here. Next, we can also change the fingerprint animation. This is the default one, and we also have these animations. These are probably from Oppo or Vivo. Next, we can also change the horizon light. So every time you get a notification, you have this horizon light effect. So you can change the color of that horizon light effect from here. So these are the different colors available. Next, we can also change the accent colors of the overall system. Blue is the default one and I personally stick to that, but you can choose any of these colors. For now, I'm just going to stick to red and just select it. And now you can see the changes in UI. Now all the accent colors are changed to red. Besides that, we can also change the overall tone of the UI. We can also change the icon shapes to something like square or curved corners. We can also change the icon pack and even change the font from here. There are just 2 fonts, but we can do it from here. So that's all we got with the customization. Next, this one also has a feature called Live Caption. Now to turn on the captions, just press the volume buttons and click this button over here to turn on captions. Now your phone will generate captions automatically without the help of the cloud. It's not accurate, but it works pretty decently. Finally, to disable it, once again do the same, press the volume buttons and click this button to stop the captions. Next, I'm going to show you how you can hide this camera notch. So to do that, go to Settings, select Display, now select Advanced, then select Front Camera Display Area. Now once you select this option, there is a black tint above the status bar beside the punch hole design, and now it looks as if there is no punch hole design. Instead you have a regular camera with a huge bezel at the top. So this is how the phone looks now. Honestly, it looks kinda weird, so I'd suggest you to stick with the default setup. Going on next, we can also change the screen refresh rate of this phone. By default it is set to 90 Hz, which makes things very smooth. For some reason, if you hate it or if you think battery life is being affected because of this feature, you can go back to 60 Hz using this option. Once again, I'll suggest you to stick with the 90 Hz. Next, this phone also has a pretty unique feature called reading mode. You can access it from display settings, so just go to display settings and select reading mode. Now once you enable this feature, your phone simply turns into a black and white phone. So here's a quick preview, and I'm going to turn it on, mono effect, and now our phone is completely black and white. Now this particular feature can be really useful if you read a lot on your phone, maybe ebooks or novels or whatever. So you can try this mode. Besides that, we can also automatically enable reading mode whenever you open any specific application. For example, I'm just going to add Amazon. So once I open Amazon, it'll instantly turn on reading mode. So right now reading mode is not enabled, and once I open Amazon application, everything will turn black and white. As you can see, now everything is in black and white. Now once I exit this application, everything becomes colorful again. So it's a pretty handy feature and I would definitely suggest you to use it. Next, I'm going to give you a quick walk around of the camera interface. So this is the default camera interface for the rear camera. Over here we have a toggle which switches between different modes. This is the default mode, and once you click it once, it takes you to 2x zoom. Now this is a digital zoom, it's just like zooming into a picture. Finally we have the ultra wide mode. So now we are using the wide angle camera, and you can see it is significantly wider. Now the primary camera on this phone is a 48 megapixel camera, but by default it only takes pictures in 12 megapixel resolution. For some reason, if you want to take 48 megapixel picture, just click this toggle over here, and then you can take a 48 megapixel picture. Going on next, if you want to take a macro shot, you need to enable this particular toggle, and then you can use that 2 megapixel camera to take a macro shot. Next, we also have a quick shortcut for Google Lens, and here's how it works. Just point at things that you want to search for, and you can have pretty much similar results from Google itself. And it works pretty well as well. Next, if you go to video recording, we can record video in 1080p and 4K resolutions at 60 fps as well. And this phone also has super steady mode, so once you enable this particular toggle, you can get a super stable footage. By the way, in this mode, your phone will be using the wide angle camera, not the primary camera, so the footage quality might not be as great as the primary camera, but this footage is pretty damn stable. Next, we have slow motion. We can record video in 1080p resolution at 240 fps and at 720p resolution at 480 fps. Next, we have panorama, which is pretty boring. And finally, we have time lapse, and we can record time lapse using the primary camera and even using the wide angle camera. Now going to the right side, we have portrait mode. So on this phone, we can take portrait shot in zoomed in mode, or we can also take a wide angle portrait shot. And that's definitely a huge difference. Next, we have nightscape. Now this is a dedicated night mode for this phone, and we can use both the primary camera and the wide angle camera to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Here's a quick sample. Right now lighting conditions are pretty great, so there's no lag at all. Let me just turn off the lights, and now let's test it. So it does take quite a bit of time, and you need to hold your phone steadily to get a better picture. Finally, we have the Pro mode. Next, this is the interface for the front-facing camera, and honestly, there isn't any unique feature for the front camera. We just have an extra time-lapse mode for the front camera, and it just has a single camera, so you can do time-lapse video. And on the right side, we have the regular portrait mode, and that's all. Now, besides sliding all these modes, you can also do a swipe up gesture over here and directly change the mode. Now, if we go to settings, we can do some pretty interesting stuff. First of all, if you don't want the shutter sound every time you take a picture, you can disable this toggle. If you want to hide watermarks on your picture, you can disable these watermarks. If you want to have a custom watermark on your photos, you can also do it from here. Next, I'm going to show you how you can use split screen mode on this phone. So you can just go to the recent apps and just click on any application that you want to use in split screen mode, and then click on split screen. Once you do that, that application will be selected as a primary application, and then you can select the secondary application from your recent tabs, or else you can go to the home screen and then select the secondary application from your app drawer. Now that's split screen mode. Even now there are some applications that do not support split screen mode. So to fix that, this is what you need to do. First go to settings, then select about phone, then click on build number 7 times, and once you do that, just enter your password and developer options will be enabled. Now go back a step, select system, and you can find developer options over here. Now scroll all the way to the bottom and then enable force activities to be resizable. Once you do that and restart your phone, you will be able to use all the applications in split screen mode. Besides that, when you are in the developer options, you can also try out the advanced reboot feature. Now before I show you the advanced reboot options, let me show you the default ones. So this is the default reboot options. Now once I enable the advanced reboot, we get some extra options. We can directly boot into the bootloader or to the recovery. Next, I'm going to show you how to take a screenshot. On this phone, if you want to take a screenshot, you can press the volume down and power button both at the same time to take a screenshot. Besides that, you can also use the 3-finger swipe gesture. Just swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. Now for some reason, if that gesture doesn't work for you, this is what you need to do. Go to settings, then select buttons and gestures, then select quick gestures, and make sure this particular toggle is enabled. Once it is enabled, you can swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. Next, on this phone, we can also take a long screenshot. So to do that, first we need to take a regular screenshot. I'm going to use the gesture. Now click this button. Now that particular page will be scrolled automatically, and once it reaches the end or when you touch the screen, it will stop and give you a long screenshot. And there we go. Next, I'm going to show you some of my favorite gestures that I use on this phone, and I would definitely suggest you to use them as well. So for that, once again go to settings, buttons and gestures, then select quick gestures. Make sure you enable double tap to wake, set O for camera, it's selected by default, and V to toggle the flash. Now once you're done, you can just double tap the screen to wake it up. If you're using face unlock feature, you can just double tap the screen, it wakes up, sees your face, and immediately unlocks the phone. Overall process seems pretty seamless. Next, when the display is off, I can draw a no to open the camera application. Next, I can also draw a V to toggle the flash. Now the flash is on, and now it's off. So there we go. So these are the 3 gestures that I would definitely suggest you to try. There are some more interesting stuff. Definitely do give it a try. Next, I'm going to show you how you can change the status bar. For that, go to settings, then select display, scroll to the bottom and select status bar. From here, you can change the battery style. I personally prefer the circle. And then we can also display the battery percentage on the status bar. We can also display the network usage on the status bar by using this toggle. These are the 3 things that I would definitely suggest you to do. Going back to the home screen, there is another important thing I would suggest you to do. Open the phone dialer, go to settings, and just enable this toggle. Once you do that, every time you get a call, instead of swiping down to answer the call, you can do a swipe up gesture to answer the call. Many people get confused and accidentally end calls instead of lifting it. So you can use this feature to fix that issue. Now I'm going to show you some important gestures related to your home screen. This is the default launcher, and when you do a swipe down gesture, it pulls down the notification bar. When you do a swipe up gesture, it takes you to the app drawer. Now you can just press and hold, then go to settings for some extra options. Now first make sure you enable this particular toggle, double tap to lock. Whenever you do a double tap gesture, it locks your phone. Now you can use the double tap to wake gesture to wake up, use face unlock and unlock the phone. Overall, it just gives you a much more immersive experience. We also have a feature called hidden space, which simply allows you to hide some applications. So for that, go to the app drawer, now do a swipe right gesture. Now this is your hidden space. If you want to clean up your app drawer or simply hide some applications, you can do it from here. Just go to the hidden space, click the plus button and add the applications that you want to hide. Once you do that, all these applications will be listed in the hidden space and they won't appear in the app drawer. These applications are not hidden, they're just placed in a different place. If you're using any third-party launcher or something like app drawer, you can still find those applications. If you're concerned about privacy and security, you can use the app locker feature from OnePlus itself to lock those applications. If you don't want to use your fingerprint scanner to unlock locked applications, you can also use third-party app lockers. Personally, I would use the third-party app lockers instead of the default one. So guys, those are the most important tips and tricks for your OnePlus 8. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video, and definitely check out my video on the best features where I covered all the features of this phone. If you're planning to buy this phone, definitely use the link in the description. It really helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.